Good morning, everyone, especially to our Professor Julius G. Igot. I am going to report for the subject Ed 23 School Laws and Legislation. My topic is all about Republic Act number 4670, also known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. I am Jeanette Galbo and I am your reporter. Before we start, we will have first a word game. So you are going to uh, give your answer through our clue letters here below the question. So here is my question. It aims to promote and improve the social and economic status of public school teachers. It seeks to enhance their living and working conditions, terms of employment, and career prospects. Your timer starts now. Well done, my co-masterants. The correct answer is Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. Job well done! What is RA 4670? It aims to promote and improve the social and economic status of public school teachers. It seeks to enhance their living and working conditions, terms of employment, and career prospects. The goal is to attract and retain qualified individuals in the teaching profession. Purpose of Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. This is the reason was passed in law in 1996. So as we have known that the Magna Carta is untouchable since it was made. And then to safeguard the rights of teachers and to consider the exigency and the level of difficulty in the practice of the profession. History of RA 4670 or the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. So in 2018, Manila Teachers Representative Virgilio Lacson proposed a Bill 8384 or expanded Magna Carta for Public School Teachers to amend of the provision of RA 4670. A Declaration of Policy Coverage. Section 1, Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared to be the policy of this Act to promote and improve the social and economic status of public school teachers, their living and working conditions, their terms of employment, and career prospects in order that they may compare favorably with existing opportunities in other walks of life, attract and retain in the teaching profession more people with the proper qualifications, it being recognized that advance in education depends on the qualifications and ability of the teaching staff and that education is an essential factor in the economic growth of the nation as a productive investment of vital importance. Section 2, Title Definition. This act shall be known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers and shall apply to all public school teachers except those in the professorial staff of state colleges and universities. As used in this act, the term teacher shall mean all persons engaged in classroom teaching in any level of instruction on full-time basis including guidance counselors, school librarians, industrial arts or vocational instructors, and all other persons performing supervisory and/or administrative functions in all schools, colleges, and universities operated by the government or its political subdivisions, but shall not include school nurses, school physicians, school dentists, and other school employees. Recruitment and Career. Section 3, Recruitment and Qualification. Recruitment policy with respect to the selection and appointment of teachers shall be clearly defined by the Department of Education. Provided, however, the effective upon the approval of this act, the following shall constitute the minimum educational qualifications for teacher applicants. So, A, for teachers in kindergarten and elementary grades, bachelor's degree in elementary education or B.Ed and B.Sed. B. For teachers for the secondary schools, bachelor's degree in education or its equivalent with a major and a minor, or a bachelor's degree in arts or science with at least 18 professional units in education. For teachers of secondary, vocational, and 2 years technical courses, bachelor's degree in the field of specialization with at least 18 professional units in education. D. For teachers of courses on the collegiate level other than vocational master's degree with a specific area of specialization. Provided further that in the absence of applicants who possess the minimum educational qualifications, as herein above provided, the school superintendent may appoint under a temporary status applicants who do not meet the minimum qualifications. Provided further that should teacher applicants, whether they possess the minimum educational qualifications or not, be required to take competitive examinations, preference in making appointments shall be in the order of the respective ranks in said competitive examinations, and provided finally that the results of the examinations shall be made public and every applicant shall be furnished with his score and rank in said examinations. Section 4, Probationary Period. When recruitment takes place after adequate training and professional preparation in any school recognized by the government, no probationary period preceding regular appointment shall be imposed if the teacher possesses the appropriate civil service eligibility, provided, however, that where due to the exigencies of the service, it is necessary to employ as teacher a person who possesses the minimum educational qualifications herein above set forth but lacks the appropriate civil service eligibility, such person shall be appointed on the provisional status and shall undergo a period of provision for not less than 1 year from and after the date of his provisional appointment. Section 5, Tenure of Office. Stability on employment and security of tenure shall be assured the teachers as provided under existing law, subject to the provisions of Section 3 hereof. Teachers appointed on a provisional status for lack of necessary civil service eligibility shall be extended permanent appointment for the position he is holding after having rendered at least 10 years of continuous, efficient, and faithful service in such position. Section 7, Code of Professional Conduct for Teachers. Within 6 months of the approval of this act, the Secretary of Education shall formulate and prepare a code of professional conduct for public school teachers. A copy of the code shall be furnished each teacher, provided, however, that where this is not possible by reason of inadequate fiscal resources of the Department of Education, at least 3 copies of the same code shall be deposited with the office of the school principal or head teacher where they may be accessible for use by the teachers. Section 8, Safeguards in Disciplinary Procedure. Every teacher shall enjoy equitable safeguards at each stage of any disciplinary procedure, and shall have a. The right to be informed in writing of the charges. B. The right to full access to the evidence in the case. C. The right to defend himself and to be defended by a representative of his choice and or by his organization. Adequate time being given to the teacher for the preparation of his defense. And D. The right to appeal to clearly designated authorities. No publicity shall be given to any disciplinary action being undertaken against a teacher during the pendency of his case. Section 9, Administrative Charges. Administrative charges against a teacher shall be heard initially by a committee composed of a corresponding school superintendent of the division or a duly authorized representative who at least have the rank of a division supervisor, where the teacher belongs as chairman, a representative of the local or in its absence, any existing provincial or national teachers organization, and a supervisor of the division. The last two to be designated by the Director of Public Schools. The committee shall submit its findings and recommendations to the Director of Public Schools within 30 days from the termination of the hearings, provided, however, that where the school superintendent is the complainant or an interested party, all the members of the committee shall be appointed by the Secretary of Education. Section 10, No Discrimination. There shall be no discrimination whatsoever in entrance to the teaching profession or during its exercise or in the termination of services based on other than professional consideration. Section 11, Married Teachers. Whenever possible, the proper authorities shall take all steps to enable married couples, both of whom are public school teachers, to be employed in the same locality. Section 12, Academic Freedom. Teachers shall enjoy academic freedom in the discharge of their professional duties, particularly with regard to teaching and classroom methods. 3 hours of works and remuneration. Section 13, the teaching hours. Any teacher engaged in actual classroom instruction shall not be required to render more than 6 hours of actual classroom teaching a day, which shall be so scheduled as to give him time for the preparation and correction of exercises and other work incidental to his normal teaching duties, provided, however, that where the exigencies of the service so require, any teacher may be required to render more than 6 hours but not exceeding 8 hours of actual classroom teaching a day upon payment of additional compensation at the same rate as his regular remuneration plus at least 25% of his basic pay. 3. Hours of work and remuneration. Section 14, Additional Compensation. Notwithstanding any provision of existing law to the contrary, co-curricula and out-of-school activities and any other activities outside of what is defined as normal duties of any teacher shall be paid an additional compensation of at least 25% of his regular remuneration after the teacher has completed at least 6 hours of actual classroom teaching a day. In the case of other teachers or school officials not engaged in actual classroom instruction, any work performed in excess of 8 hours a day shall be paid an additional compensation of at least 25% of their regular remuneration. The agencies utilizing the services of teachers shall pay the additional compensation required under this section. Education authorities shall refuse to allow the rendition of services of teachers for other government agencies without the assurance that the teacher shall be paid the remuneration provided for under this section. Section 15. Criteria for salaries. Teacher salaries shall respond to the following criteria. A. They shall compare favorably with those paid in other occupations requiring equivalent or similar qualifications, training, and abilities. B. They shall be such as to ensure teachers a reasonable standard of life for themselves and their families. And C. They shall be properly graded as to recognize the fact that certain positions require higher qualifications and greater responsibility than others, provided, however, that the general salary scale shall be such that the relation between the lowest and highest salaries paid in the profession will be of reasonable order. Narrowing of the salary scale shall be achieved by raising the lower end of the salary scales relative to the upper end. Section 16, Salary Scale. Salary scales of teachers shall be provided for a gradual progression from a minimum to a maximum salary by means of regular increments, granted automatically after 3 years, provided that the efficiency rating of the teacher concerned is at least satisfactory. The progression from the minimum to the maximum of the salary scale shall not extend over a period of 10 years. Section 17, Equality in Salary Scales. The salary scales of teachers whose salaries are appropriated by a city, municipal, and municipal district or provincial government shall not be less than those provided for teachers of the national government. Section 18, Cost of Living Allowance. Teacher salaries shall at the very least keep pace with the rise in the cost of living by the payment of a cost of living allowance, which shall automatically follow changes in a cost of living index. The Secretary of Education shall, in consultation with the proper government entities, recommend to Congress at least annually the appropriation of the necessary funds for the cost of living allowances of teachers employed by the national government. The determination of the cost of living allowances by the Secretary of Education shall, upon approval of the President of the Philippines, be binding on the city, municipal, or provincial government for the purposes of calculating the cost of living allowances of teachers under its employ. Special hardship allowances, our section 19, in areas in which teachers are exposed to hardships such as difficulty in commuting to the place of work or other hazards peculiar to the place of employment, as determined by the Secretary of Education, they shall be compensated special hardship allowances equivalent to at least 25% of their monthly salary. Section 21, Deductions Prohibited. No person shall make any deduction whatsoever from the salaries of teachers except under specific authority of law authorizing such deductions, provided, however, that upon written authority executed by the teacher concerned, 1. Lawful dues and fees owing to the Philippine Public School Teachers Association. And 2. Premiums properly due and insurance policies shall be considered deductible. 4. Health measures and injury benefits. Section 22, medical examination and treatment. Compulsory medical examination shall be provided free of charge for all teachers before they take up teaching, and shall be repeated not less than once a year during the teacher's professional life. Where medical examination show that medical treatment and/or hospitalization is necessary, same shall be provided free by the government entity paying the salary of the teachers. In regions where there is scarcity of medical facilities, teachers may obtain elsewhere the necessary medical care with the right to be reimbursed for their traveling expenses by the government entity concerned in the first paragraph of this section. Section 23, compensation for injuries. Teachers shall be protected against the consequences of employment injuries in accordance with existing laws. The effects of the physical and nervous strain of the teacher's health shall be recognized as a compensable occupational disease in accordance with existing laws. 5. Leave and retirement benefits. Section 24, study leave. In addition to the leave privileges now enjoyed by the teachers in the public schools, they shall be entitled to study leave not exceeding 1 school year after 7 years of service. Such leave shall be granted in accordance with a schedule set by the Department of Education. During the period of such leave, the teacher shall be entitled to at least 60% of their monthly salary, provided, however, that no teacher shall be allowed to accumulate more than 1 year's study leave unless he needs an additional semester to finish his thesis for a graduate study in education or allied courses. Provided further that no compensation shall be due the teacher after the first year of such leave. In all cases, the study leave the study leave period shall be counted for seniority and pension purposes. The compensation allowed for 1 year study leave as herein provided shall be subject to the condition that the teacher takes the regular study load and passes at least 75% of his courses. Study leave of more than 1 year may be permitted by the Secretary of Education, but without compensation. Section 25, indefinite leave. An indefinite sick leave of absence shall be granted to teachers where the nature of the illness demands a long treatment that will exceed 1 year at the least. Section 26, salary increase upon retirement. Public school teachers having fulfilled the age of and service requirement of the applicable retirement laws shall be given a one-range salary raise upon retirement, which shall be the basis of the computation of the lump sum of the retirement pay and monthly benefits thereafter. Teachers' Organization. Section 27. Freedom to organize. Public school teachers shall have the right to freely and without previous authorization both to establish and to join organizations of their choosing, or whether local or national, to further and defend their interests. Section 28. Discrimination against teachers prohibited. The rights established in the immediate preceding section shall be exercised without any interference or coerence. It shall be unlawful for any person to commit any acts of discrimination against teachers which are calculated to a. Make the employment of the teacher subject to the condition that he shall not join any organization or shall relinquish membership in an organization. B. To cause the dismissal of or other prejudice a teacher by reason of his membership in an organization or become of participation in organization activities outside school hours, or with the consent of the proper school authorities within school hours, and C. To prevent him from carrying out the duties laid upon him by his position in the organization, or to penalize him for an act undertaken in that capacity. Section 29, National Teachers Organization. National teachers organizations shall be consulted in the formulation of national educational policies and professional standards, and in the formulation of national policies governing the social security of the teachers. Section 31, Budgetary Estimates. The Secretary of Education shall submit to Congress annually the necessary budgetary estimates to implement the provisions of Act concerning the benefits herein granted to public school teachers under the employ of the national government. Section 31, Penal Provision. A person who shall willfully interfere with, restrain, or coerce any teacher in the exercise of his rights granted by this act, or who shall in any other matter commit any act to defeat any of the provisions of this act, shall upon conviction be punished by a fine of not less than 100 pesos nor more than 1,000 pesos, or by imprisonment in the discretion of the court. If the offender is a public official, the court shall order his dismissal to the government service. Section 33, Repealing Clause. All acts or parts of acts, executive orders, and their implementing rules inconsistent with the provision of this act are hereby repealed, amended, or modified accordingly. Section 34, Separability Clause. If any provision of this act is declared invalid, the remainder of this act or any provisions not affected thereby shall remain in force and in effect. Section 35, this act shall take effect upon its approval. Approved June 18, 1966. Thank you very much for listening, my co-master Rance. Good luck to all of us and God bless us all.